to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, a place where your mind can drift like a quiet balloon through a gentle evening sky. Tonight, you will travel with a heart-shaped hot air balloon over sleepy fields, misty lakes, and soft, glowing towns until you float all the way into rest. For now, you do not have to do anything at all. You are allowed to pause here in this moment. Let your body settle a little more deeply into whatever is supporting you. Feel the weight of your body being held. Your head, your shoulders, your back, your hips, your legs, your feet. All of you is supported. All of you is allowed to rest. Take a slow breath in at your own pace. Let the air fill your chest, your ribs, your belly. Then release it gently as if you are sighing into a warm evening breeze. With every exhale, imagine letting go of something you no longer need to carry. A little bit of tension, a stray thought, a small worry that can wait until another day. As you breathe, begin to picture a quiet field at dusk. The last light of the day is stretched across the sky in soft colors like watercolor paint washed gently over paper. The air is calm and mild. In the distance, you see the faint outline of hills, softened by a delicate haze. Above them, the first early stars are beginning to appear, patient and distant. You notice in the field a shape rising slowly from the ground, filling with warm air. It is a hot air balloon, but unlike any you've seen before. The balloon is shaped like a heart. Its sides are curved and gentle, its surface stitched from panels of soft colors, muted rose, quiet gold, and a deep, velvety crimson that seems almost to drink in the dusk. Lanterns hang from the basket. Their glow pale at first, then gradually brighter like fireflies waking up. As you look more closely, you realize that this is your balloon tonight. You do not have to do anything to pilot it. There is no effort required. All you need to do is step inside the idea of this heart-shaped balloon. Step into the basket in your imagination. Feel the woven floor beneath your feet. Light, sturdy, safe. Take another calm breath in. As you breathe out, imagine the balloon beginning to rise. The ropes loosen, the ground slowly moves away, and the field becomes smaller and softer beneath you. You feel only gentleness in this ascent, like being lifted by a kind and steady hand. In a moment, the story will follow this balloon as it drifts through the evening sky, carrying quiet wishes and sleepy thoughts. You may imagine yourself in the story, or you may simply listen from far away. Either way is perfectly fine. You are safe, you are supported, you are free to drift. Now let the story carry you. Far from the noise of busy roads and crowded days in a valley that seemed to exist just slightly to the side of ordinary life, there lived a caretaker of balloons named Elia. Aaliyah was not known in bustling cities or celebrated in books, but in quiet corners and peaceful hearts. Their work was cherished. They tended to balloons that were meant not for travel between distant lands, but for journeys of the spirit, gentle flights meant to soothe tired minds. Among all the balloons in Eliah's small meadow, the most treasured one was the heart-shaped hot air balloon. It rested on a neatly folded patch of grass, its basket lined with thick quilts woven from threads of faded blues, soft creams, and pale pinks. The cloth of the balloon itself held the faint scent of sun and wind, as if every flight had left behind a tender memory. When evening came, Aaliyah would walk the path from their cottage to the meadow with measured, unhurried steps. Lantern light would swing at their side, casting slow circles of gold on the path. The meadow always seemed to be waiting, quiet and attentive, as if it knew that each night brought a promise of calm. Aaliyah believed that some balloons were made for adventure, but this heart-shaped one was made for comfort. It was meant to rise when the sky turned purple and blue, when the world grew a little softer, and when the hearts below needed reassurance that they were cared for even from afar. On this evening, the air was especially still. A gentle hush rested over the valley. Aaliyah ran a hand along the wicker basket, feeling the smoothness of the worn places where hands had held on before. They checked the ropes, tested the fabric, and gently lit the small flame that lived beneath the balloon. The flame responded with a quiet whoosh, then settled into a steady, low murmur, like someone humming to themselves in the next room. As the warm air began to fill the balloon, the heart shape slowly unfurled and rose. Panels of color smoothed themselves, seams relaxed, and the curved top of the heart rounded into place. Aaliyah watched it with patient eyes, always a little moved by the simple magic of it. Air becoming warmth, warmth becoming lift, lift becoming flight. Tonight, Aaliyah felt something special in the air, a sense of many tired minds across the world, many hearts carrying small, invisible weights. There were people who had spoken kindly all day and forgotten to be kind to themselves. People who had worked quietly in the background, unnoticed and unthanked. People who had worried for loved ones, or carried questions without answers, or simply felt worn thin without knowing why. Aaliyah stepped into the basket of the heart-shaped balloon and placed a hand on the edge, steady and sure. There was no rush. The balloon rose only when it felt the time was right, when the flame and fabric and air agreed that the sky was ready. Slowly, gently, the ropes loosened and the basket lifted from the grass. The meadow slipped away, first by inches, then by spans of air that widened with each quiet breath of the burner. From above, the valley looked like a folded blanket, hills tucked around the small river that wound through the land, trees clustered near the banks, their leaves whispering softly in the evening breeze. As the heart-shaped balloon drifted higher, twilight deepened. The sky bloomed with shades of lavender and pale indigo. stars appeared like small, watchful eyes, each carrying its own patient light. The lanterns hanging from the corners of the basket glowed a little brighter now, warm halos that wrapped the basket in a soft ring of safety. Inside the basket, Aaliyah did very little. They adjusted the flame from time to time, just enough to keep the balloon rising slowly, or drifting, or hovering in a calm pocket of air. Most of the time they simply stood with their hands resting on the edge of the basket, listening to the hush of the sky. The heart-shaped balloon had a quiet purpose. As it moved through the evening, it listened. It listened for the sighs of people who lay awake in their beds, trying to coax their minds into stillness. It listened for the faint, unspoken wishes of those who wanted rest more than anything else. Rest for their bodies, rest for their thoughts, rest for their feelings. When the balloon heard these silent calls, it responded in the only way it knew how. It drifted above them, not too close, not too far, and let its steady presence be like a hand placed gently on a shoulder. It did not fix anything. It did not change the shape of lives, but it offered a small, quiet sense of company. Some nights, as the balloon floated over small towns, a child might wake and glance out a window. They might see only a soft shape moving across the sky, aglow with gentle light. Later, half asleep again, they might whisper to themselves that they had seen a heart in the heavens and it had made them feel safe. On this night, the heart-shaped balloon drifted first toward the distant hills, where a layer of mist rested along the slopes. The mist curled around the trees like a pale scarf. Beneath it, the forest was dark and still, but not unfriendly. It was the kind of darkness that held sleep and quiet, not fear. Aaliyah leaned slightly over the basket's edge and watched as the mist shifted and opened. Between the trees, tiny pinpricks of light appeared. Cottages tucked into the folds of the land, windows glowing softly. In one cottage, a person sat by a bed, reading in a hushed voice to a little one who was almost, but not quite, asleep. The balloon hovered above them for a few breaths, lending a sense of wrapped safety like an extra blanket folded over the night. Beyond the hills lay a lake, still and perfectly smooth. The sky above it was reflected on the surface so that the stars seemed to float just beneath the water, shimmering slightly with each tiny ripple. As the balloon approached, its warm lantern light painted a faint, heart-shaped glow on the water, a reflection that wavered and swayed, then settled. On a small dock at the edge of the lake, someone sat alone with a blanket around their shoulders. They stared out across the water, thoughts drifting like slow clouds. They did not look up, not this time, and so they did not see the heart-shaped balloon. Yet somehow, as the balloon drifted overhead, a feeling of quiet reassurance slipped around their shoulders. Alongside the blanket, their breathing deepened, their shoulders eased. The heaviness behind their eyes softened, and after a while they rose, went inside, and allowed sleep to find them. The heart-shaped balloon traveled on. The night grew deeper, the colors of the sky dissolving into rich blue. The stars brightened, scattered across the vast darkness like seeds of light. A gentle wind guided the balloon now, nudging it toward a distant town where rooftops formed gentle steps leading up a hillside. In this town, chimneys sent up thin threads of smoke that curled and disappeared. Street lamps glowed along narrow lanes, and curtains were drawn across most windows. Here and there, a late lamp still burned, someone finishing a letter, or rinsing a cup, or stacking books on a bedside table. Aaliyah let the balloon lower just a little so it drifted above the rooftops like a silent guardian. The heart shape was clear against the sky, but soft enough not to startle. It passed over a row of houses, pausing briefly above one where a person lay awake, staring at the ceiling, thoughts looping gently but endlessly. They could not hear the flame or the faint creak of the basket, yet something within them sensed a presence overhead. A subtle warmth bloomed in their chest, as if a kind thought had been wrapped around their heart. The looping thoughts began to stretch out and slow like a line of lanterns set farther and farther apart. Their breath became smoother, more even. Their eyelids fluttered and then rested. The heart-shaped balloon listened to their breathing, and when it finally settled into the quiet rhythm of sleep, the balloon moved on, its purpose there fulfilled. While the balloon floated, Aaliyah sometimes spoke in a low, barely audible voice, as if talking to the night itself. "You are doing well," they might say, not to anyone in particular, and yet to everyone. Rest is allowed, rest is deserved. It is all right to let go for a while. The words were carried away by the wind. They threaded through half-open windows and the small cracks around doors. They settled into pillows and onto folded hands. They tucked themselves into the spaces behind the heart where worry often lived. They became, for those who needed it, something soft to lean on. The journey of the heart-shaped balloon was not hurried and never fixed in advance. It followed the curve of the land and the pull of gentle wishes. Over mountains where snow glimmered faintly under moonlight, the balloon left a trail of warmth in the air, invisible but present. Over farms and fields, where animals slept in quiet barns and grasses swayed in slow movements, it passed like a blessing. Every now and then, Aaliyah closed their eyes and simply felt the motion of the balloon. There was a calm, rocking sensation, a slow rise and fall as the flame whispered and the air responded. The basket creaked softly, an old and friendly sound. It was like being cradled in the sky, surrounded by endless space, yet never feeling lost. Eventually, the night began to lean toward its deepest point. This was the hour when dreams were thickest and the world was quietest. The heart-shaped balloon sensed this and allowed its pace to slow, drifting in wide, lazy arcs rather than long, straight paths. Below, in house after house, bodies surrendered to rest. Some curled around pillows, some stretched out, some nestled together, their faces softened, the lines of the day smoothing away. The balloon did not peer into their dreams, did not intrude. It simply hovered nearby, as though keeping watch over the gate of sleep. Elia felt a familiar peacefulness at this time of night. They knew that soon the balloon would begin its return to the meadow. But before that, there was always a final arc to trace, a last listening. So the heart-shaped balloon glided over a quiet road that wound between fields. It passed above a small bench by the roadside where someone had once sat until sunrise, trying to make a difficult decision. It crossed over an old tree whose branches spread wide, cradling nests that rustled softly. It floated past a river that sparkled faintly, even in the dark, as if each ripple carried a hidden star. At last, when the sky began, ever so slightly to pale at the edges, the balloon turned back toward the valley. The hills rose up to meet it, dark silhouettes against the beginning of dawn. The mist on the slopes had settled into a calmer blanket. The lake, now almost invisible in the dim light, still held the memory of reflected starlight and the faint heart shape on its surface. Leah adjusted the flame, letting it burn a little softer. The balloon obeyed, lowering in slow, graceful dips. The meadow appeared again below them, a familiar patch of earth that seemed to open its arms in welcome. The descent was gentle and unhurried. The basket drew closer to the ground, grasses rising to meet it. With a small, comforting bump, the basket settled. The balloon above them sighed, fabric relaxing, shape softening. The heart slowly loosened, its curved edges bending, colors folding into one another like petals, closing around the center of a flower. Elia stepped out of the basket, their feet sinking slightly into the damp morning grass. They moved with the quiet satisfaction of someone who has done what they were meant to do. The flame was turned off, the ropes gathered, the lanterns gently extinguished, until only the first light of dawn remained, brushing the meadow with pale silver. The heart-shaped balloon lay resting now, its fabric still warm from the journey. It had traveled above sleeping towns, over silent lakes, down winding roads, and past hidden wishes. It had brushed against the edges of dreams and offered its quiet companionship to those who needed it, whether they knew it or not. In the cottage nearby, Elia would soon rest too, allowing sleep to claim them, just as it had claimed the people below. But before going inside, they laid a hand on the folded fabric of the balloon and whispered a simple promise. "We will rise again," they murmured. "Whenever hearts grow heavy and nights grow long, we will rise again." The meadow absorbed the words like seeds of comfort, planted in the soil. Far away now, in all the places the balloon had passed over, the night continued to cradle those who slept. The person who had worried alone by the lake breathed more evenly, wrapped in both blanket and quiet relief. The child who had dreamed of a heart in the sky slept with a small smile on their face, comforted by something they could not quite name. The one who had stared at the ceiling now lay turned slightly to the side, arms relaxed, thoughts hushed into distant echoes. And you who have traveled with the heart-shaped balloon in your imagination are also being gently held. Feel again the sense of being in that basket, even now. The soft sway, the secure floor beneath you, the steady, kind presence of the balloon around you, curved like an embracing heart. The sky above spacious and calm. The land below far enough away to make your worries feel smaller, softer, easier to set aside. Your breath moves in and out, slow and smooth. Each inhale draws in quiet. Each exhale releases what you no longer need to hold. With every breath, you may feel yourself drifting a little closer to rest. There is nothing you must do. No decisions are required. No effort is necessary. The story has carried you to the edge of sleep, and now you stand at that soft threshold where thoughts grow distant and the world becomes muted and kind. Imagine the heart-shaped balloon still near you, even if the meadow is far away. Its presence is like a warmth near your chest, a gentle glow that says you are allowed to let go now. The balloon does not ask anything of you. It simply offers comfort, the way a quiet sky offers stars. If small thoughts rise and try to pull you back into the bright, busy light of day, you can picture placing them carefully into the basket and watching them sink into the quilted blankets there. They do not need to rise with you. They can rest. You can rest. The pace of the night around you slows. Sounds become softer, blurred at the edges. Your body understands that it is safe to sink deeper into stillness. Muscles release a little more. The weight of your limbs grows pleasant, like being wrapped in a heavy, cozy blanket. You are like the valley beneath the balloon now, gently cradled, watched over by something kind and unhurried. You are like the lake, its surface smooth, its depths calm, reflecting only what is gentle and peaceful. You are like the distant town, all the busy lamps turned out, all the doors closed, all the windows dark and quiet, holding only the soft rhythm of sleep. There will be other days, other stories, other journeys. For now, there is only this growing silence inside you, this comforting darkness, not empty but full of rest, this sense of being held in a heart that knows how to rise and how to return, how to watch and how to let be. Let your breathing grow even softer. Let your thoughts drift like lanterns carried away on a distant wind. Let your body sink into the place where it is supported, knowing that you are safe. The heart-shaped hot air balloon has completed its journey for the night, and so have you. Its gentle path through the sky has become a gentle path through your own mind, leading you carefully towards sleep. Now you may let go of the story. Let the words fade like stars, dissolving into the pale glow of dawn. Let yourself float in the quiet that remains, light and unburdened. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.